Welcome back to the observatory. My name is Trip Starlake, and we have another book club now. Book club meet. This time we read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, who I kept saying was Suzanne Collins, that's the author of Hunger Games. Wrong person. So sorry if you saw that tweet. Twitter wouldn't let me delete it. Anyway, this book was a short little story about this guy who's called Piranesi that lives in a house, and he has no memory of having lived anywhere else. And he's writing in his notebooks, and we're reading those notebooks. Basically. And I'm here with my regulars. We have Toto, Realm, and Faye. And we had a lot
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. And what the heck was it? We had a lot of fun talking about it in our Discord before actually reviewing it.
So confusing. Not inherently confusing, but damn, like.
Yeah, but I liked it once it was cleared up. Like once I saw what they were putting down, I was like, yeah, I'm into this. It was fun.
Yeah.
But it was confusing for a long time.
Yeah,
it was, I guess, meant to be because you have this like unreliable narrator, and also the world is not. It's an unreliable narrator in an unknown world.
Yeah.
So that is, just and you only have things from his perspective, so that's just like the perfect mix to confuse someone,
Yeah.
I think the statement I said was, this is like reading a book by somebody who's jacking off both a thesaurus and a dictionary at the same time.
I don't think it was that bad. I don't think that his vocabulary was like that awful. He used a lot of architecture jargon at the beginning, though, so if you don't know your like architecture stuff, yeah.
You mean if I don't know my vestibules from my plinth?
No.
Yeah, but I mean, you can look this up. Vestibule is just a hallway with
is.
a lot of like bolts in it. That's all.
No, I know.
Vestibule.
It's not that I don't know. I just hated hearing the word 1,000 times.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But he's also crazy. Like the main character is just like
He do be
totally
crazy.
broken. He's just really insane.
He is crazy, but it's so funny.
It's just like it was such a weird blend of like mythos, and then they're talking about like random cities in like the early 2000s, and you had this weird labyrinth thing, and I'm like, what should I be paying attention to?
Yeah. But like he's the type of crazy where he thinks he is sane, which is the worst type of crazy,
Oh yeah, it's like your those stories of like murderers who like go along and try to solve a murder, and you're like, oh my god, it was me?
Yeah.
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 Okay, he didn't murder anyone though. In fact, he was almost murdered himself.
Yeah, he actually tried to prevent murder, and it didn't. Well.
Okay, wait. Let's back up about this world. So this world is like an endless tower/hallway of just endless columns. And it's just like this liminal space of like Greco-Roman columns with statues all over the place. And all the statues are different.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to get lost in it, Just imagine like endless corridors every which way. But the only things that limit this are that like up too high above, there's clouds that like fog up the area, and down too low below, and there's just like water that would drown you. Yeah, ocean.
And the tides come in, and it's dangerous.
And right now, if you look up like Piranesi architecture, because like the book is titled after an Italian artist, so
you already know the fun facts. I'll let you go for it.
Right. You can see like kind of what they were going for in this like crazy liminal space that looks like fancy architecture.
Yeah, since Piranesi was an Italian artist.
Yeah, but he drew a lot of like liminal spaces or like fantastical like prisons and stuff.
Yeah.
This place is a fantastical prison, which I really like.
Yeah. I read that he hallucinated them when he had malaria, and then he drew them all out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Go to candy
as you do.
Did you just make a Charlie the Unicorn joke?
Yeah, that's what I thought about. Like this magical, wonderful place, and you're like, no, what the hell is this place? No, can't you bend, Charlie? It's a wonderful place. And you're like,
yeah.
Like what?
See, this is where like my silly brain, I took everything far too literally. So he'd be like, down hallway 12B, and I was like, okay. And then he's like, and then 12C, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
Where are we?
He's like, we're going into the northwest quarter, into the, yeah, I know.
No, he's just really crazy. He's the only person who can like, because he basically has been trapped there for so long and he doesn't even remember
Yeah.
like entering, he's the only person who has like a way to remember where he is and locate stuff.
Yeah. He's the only one that's alive that is frequently there, that's always there. He says that there's like, what is it? It's 15 people? Or 14 people.
16
No,
including
16
that.
in the
people.
end.
16 including like the extra person that they
Yeah.
discovered. But the thing is like he is so crazy because most of these people are just skeletons.
Yeah,
They're just skeletons of people who got trapped here and died.
Yeah.
But he still counts them as people. He's like, I have evidence that humans existed once. There are 15 people
Yeah.
that existed ever.
Yeah, basically as soon as I got there, which was probably like on page 10, I was like, oh, this guy's not having a good time.
I thought he was like in space or something for a little bit. Like it was kind of gonna be like sci-fi, and like he had to like uncover like the lost history or something.
Yeah.
But you do find like one other character who frequents this area, and he's searching for some magic secrets. So this is more like a fantasy book.
Yes. Yeah, it's more of a fantasy book, and Piranesi refers to him as the Other.
Yeah.
I liked the other. I thought he was quite fun.
I hated the other. He was like the most manipulative bitch ever.
It was.
I thought he was fun. He was a little sassy.
Yeah.
I don't know if the audiobook would have had this at the beginning, but like at the very beginning, it's considered a foreword. Apparently, it's a quote from The Magician's Nephew, by C.S. Lewis, and it says, "I am the great scholar, the magician, the adept who is doing the experiment. Of course, I need subjects to do it on," which apparently told me what the entire book was, but I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that Susanna Clarke had been extremely influenced by Narnia because of the previous book they wrote, which someone mentioned earlier in chat, actually. I haven't read that one yet, though. I just know it's also C.S. Lewis-y.
I remember being in my car and hearing him describe the other, Piranesi describe the other, and I was like, this man has a crush right now.
Oh,
and
yeah,
in my head, I was
totally get
shipping
those
it. I was
vibes,
like,
but
I'm
then
here for it.
they were so like he was so toxic to him. The other is just like basically using him, because one thing that happens in this world that we didn't mention is you slowly just lose your memory and possibly sanity while you're there.
Yeah.
So like the other can't stay here, but he doesn't let Piranesi know that like, hey, I'm just like leaving and going back to like the regular world all the time and leaving you and abandoning you here all the time.
Yep.
Just doesn't tell him that. Just happens to leave that part out.
No, and he brings him things.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Because he needs Piranesi to help him like map his way and guide him through this like these labyrinthine corridors, because he's searching for like the like hidden magics that he thinks are here. Yeah. I mean, this is like all. I'm sorry. This is all just like spoiling the book.
No, it's okay. It's, I wrote
really
spoilers
helps.
abound to beware. We're good.
Yeah. It's really hard to talk about this book without spoiling everything, because you kind of discover this as you read the book, and by the end, it all connects. But up until then, you're just like, what the hell is happening?
What the heck is going on? I know. Yeah, what else did this professional plot summary say? We talked about the other. Yeah, when messages begin to appear in the house, Piranesi learns that he's not alone and there is someone new in the house. But who are they and what do they want? Are they a friend, or do they bring destruction and madness as the other claims? And what secrets will Piranesi discover about the other and the house itself?
Yeah.
I looked that up because it was nominated. I think it won. Yeah, it won the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2021.
I didn't think it deserved that until I finished the book.
Yeah.
And after I finished the book, I was like, yeah, I can see how this
I also
this
think
is pretty good.
So for 2021, the book would have had to come out in 2020, and I think if this was a big hit in 2020, and everyone was like, "Wow, I am Piranesi sitting in my house every day's the same," losing my mind.
I see.
The tides are coming in. I understand why it was a big hit when it came out, actually.
Yeah, sometimes it's the right book at the right time, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it was written well, I think.
Yeah, no, I think it was written very well.
Like, it's objectively good, but I totally think people are either gonna hate it or love it when they read it.
I think that the author does a good job of doing Piranesi's voice, and she does it in a way where at the beginning he sounds like very like uptight and logical and like robotic, but you find that he's actually a very emotion-driven person.
Yeah.
He cares about the birds. He speaks with the birds. He likes fantasizing about what if there were more people in the world than just me and these skeletons.
Yeah.
And
I really liked it was very early in the book. But he was talking about like when the bird first came in, the albatross.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about like flying away with it. That really clued me in on how like deeply this guy seemed to feel everything. So that was pretty cool. That was a really good like you could see it in your mind's eye, which is really nice. You can't always do that with books.
Yeah.
Right.
In contrast, like the other is like so manipulative, like we talked about before, but he's also not very smart. But it's important that he's not smart because his like failings like clue you into what's going on.
Right.
Because he just like constantly like drops hints that like, oh, this is like a different dimension and I've trapped you here, and oh, the real world still exists in this universe, in this book universe.
Yeah, and he always said that he was kept looking at like a shiny object, and I kept thinking that was like a watch or a phone.
Yeah, I thought it was a phone, right?
Yeah, like a cell phone. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't really doing a good job, but
no, he was terrible. He kept leaking information. He was like, "Oh, this is terrible. Like, I have to like keep this for when I go back, or like when I see other people." And Piranesi just like, "Other people? You mean like, what do you mean other people? All the people I know are here, and they're skeletons." It's just like, don't pretend you didn't hear that.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
I will say I got a bit fucked up. Again, so the vast majority of my book remembrance is from the very early point in this book, because that was when I was most like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
So that affected me the most. The rest of it was really good, but the beginning of the book really fucked me up the most. That's the part I remember.
I totally agree, though, because the beginning of the book is so confusing. It's like, what is happening?
But there was a moment where he interacts with it. He's seemingly interacting with the viewer. He goes, "And you, whoever you are," and I was like, "Don't talk to me. I don't like this."
He's like, "You reading this book right now?" Yeah.
And I was like, "No."
Hey, that's me.
He called you out.
I don't want to be here.
You can just shut the book, though. He has to stay in the house. The house.
Yeah. And he doesn't call himself Piranesi. He calls himself the beloved one of the house. Because he's so crazy. He's like, the house will provide for me. The house gives food and shelter.
The rock will provide.
Yeah. Yeah. I also felt, I don't know. I felt I could turn my English, my partial English degree on. I could turn it on because there's so many things my brain, that side of my brain on, I guess. There's so many things that were like classic literary like references and metaphors. I was like, wow.
So much. They were just all crammed in there.
Wow, okay. There's like so many. Like albatross and like the water, and it literally is Plato's allegory of the cave, kind of.
Yeah. It's like he only sees the shadows. He doesn't know what the real things exist. So even when like someone comes in and is like, "Let's get you out of here," he's like, "Out to where? What else could there be?
What else could there be?" Yeah.
And she's just like, a place where there's more people. And he's like, "I bet you mean like more than 70 people, maybe?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, there's more than 70.
He's like, "How do you know there's more than 70 people? Have you counted?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Then how do you know there's more than 70 people?" And he even says, like, I said an absurdly large number to really try and test her,
Yeah. Because he doesn't know
anything. I'm pretty sure there's more than 70 people.
Yeah, I think
so. There's this thing that happens in the world where, social media has kind of fucked it up, where socially humans exist in tribes, and your tribe can be anywhere, but it generally caps out at about 150 people. And social media has really fucked with that, because now our tribe could be vast and it's insane.
Mhm.
But so it's so funny for him to be like, well, only 70 people exist, because I know people in my real life who like can't think past their quote unquote tribe of people. And so it's just like for me it called back to that. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of this other person, she is like the 16th person
Yeah.
because like Piranesi basically finds evidence that someone else alive is here, not him or the other. And then the other, people are all just like skeletons. So there's someone else alive here, and the other is just like, oh shit, like don't talk to them. They're going to try and corrupt you. They're going to destroy you. They're going to drive you insane.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, we find out it's a police officer doing like a missing persons case and trying to find him.
Yep.
Or at least the person he was, because, he's lost his memories.
Yeah, I found it so interesting. Like, he, like, recognizes that he was that person, but also he doesn't. The same, like, that's a different person within me.
Yeah.
They're sitting within me.
You get a clue of that, like, pretty early on when he's like, the other calls me Piranesi, but I don't feel that is who I am. Like, I feel as though I went by another name, but I couldn't tell you what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even when he, like, discovers journal entries that his, like, he had written himself before he lost his memories, he's like, who is this? Who wrote these?
He's like, I don't know who that is. Who is this
It's
person?
me when I, like, order things off of Amazon. Well,
We get wine drunk and
my
order things
God,
off of
yeah.
Amazon.
it's on it. What?
Who did these?
Yeah, who did that?
What is this?
Get a little vertical, start ordering shit off Temu, and just like shit shows up a month later, and you're like, what?
What? Why did I write such things in my journals like police station? What the heck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, like, it's a weird way to, like, not have plot holes, because even though, like, these things don't exist for him, he's still able to, like, somehow remember them because of his, like, previous life, right?
Yeah, it made sense, because he'll say things that it's like, there's no way you would know
And
that if
it's
you
like,
were
how would
here.
you know this if this is not in the world?
But he did know that. It's just, like, locked away in his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a silly question. So, Piranesi describes the sleeping bag he finds at one point as being evil smelling. What do you think evil smells like?
Oh, gosh.
BO.
Yeah, I don't know if BO is evil smelling to me.
I'd say
Germs,
rotten
maybe?
turd.
Like piss? Like, it smells like it's
like
dirty?
piss?
Because I
Okay.
guess, like, for
Yeah.
him, since he's surviving this world off of nothing but, like, fish and, like, seaweed,
Yeah,
maybe, like, stuff that is, like, unclean would smell evil to him.
yeah.
I guess when I said BO, I more meant like, and I'm gonna go on the dramatic route on this. Have you ever woken up next to somebody and their morning breath is just fucking foul?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, I hate this. This is foul. This is evil.
This is evil.
Yeah.
I do
Maybe it's the
understand.
other's breath.
The other's breath! I just thought it was funny, because he's, like, going on a tangent about all these things, and then he says, it smelled evil, and then, like, goes on another tangent. It was just really goofy.
It's like, sir, please, hold on.
So, wait, what? What do you mean
Get back
evil?
here. Get back here with that.
That's funny.
He was kind of funny, like, he'd hit you with something real fucking weird, and then he'd move on to another topic, and you're like, wait!
Yeah, which is
Come
nice,
back!
because it's, like, stream of consciousness, writing your journal,
Yeah.
as like you
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
But, yeah, sometimes what he thought was really funny to me. What else do I have? Oh, yeah. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I wrote the question. My notes are really crazy, just like I'm Piranesi. How do you think Piranesi survived all this time? I guess, because I imagine he just lost his mind at one point and was just like, I live here forever, and made the most of it.
Fucking
But
seaweed, dude.
yeah,
He
I
tells
think
you.
he
Yeah, drive
probably,
seaweed.
like, taught himself while he was still, like, before he lost his memory, he probably taught himself to, like, survive.
yeah,
He does kind of have, like, this survivalist nature about him.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because, like, he's doing weird shit with seaweed to, like, make it, like, he even talked about how he was using seaweed to fix his glasses and shit.
uh-huh.
So it's like, he was probably like a bear. I don't know that guy's name, but like that
Grylls.
survivalist Bear Grylls.
Oh yeah.
He feels like one of those people, so that's why he's so interested in all the shit going on, and it would make sense on why he's able to understand this weird labyrinth he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely forms a relationship with this house, and he's like, the house provides for me, and I take care of the house. I like journal and sketch out all the statues. And
Yeah.
that's probably because like the other like told him to do it, like, hey, sketch this out for me so I can find the hidden magic secrets inside this place, this dimension.
That's true. That's true. I thought I personally really like that he seemed to have so much reverence for like every little thing. Like even when he doesn't like one of the kinds of birds that live there, but he still like respects them. Yeah.
And once again, that's contrasted with like the other, showing like no respect to Piranesi or the house. He's just like, I just want to like find the magic secrets and get out of here, get out of this shithole.
Yeah, and the other is scared of the house, kind of.
Yeah. Which is ironic because the other is like so focused on like preserving his intelligence, and that's why he like keeps leaving so he doesn't have the memory loss happen to him.
Yeah.
But he's actually, like, as I said before, he's not very smart. He keeps giving away shit.
He does.
And like other characters call him out on it too. They're like, he has no original ideas. All his like thoughts were just like stolen from me, his teacher.
Yeah, he did steal them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked to that funny, weird man for like 1 second. Well, we don't. Piranesi does.
Oh, yeah, the prophet.
The prophet. Which I didn't like him personally. I liked the other even more than that guy because he just seemed like an asshole.
They were both assholes.
Yeah, in different ways.
Yeah, the prophet was like cult leader asshole.
Yeah.
Like, the other was like toxic boyfriend asshole.
He really was.
I don't think one is better than the other. I don't dislike them both.
No, I just like them both. I think I just didn't like the way that how is his name said? Arn Sales?
Yeah, Arn Sales.
It is Arn Sales? Okay.
Arn Sales, yeah.
Yeah. He was so rude in a way, like, because the other I could at least laugh at.
Yeah, you could like pretend that maybe he wasn't so full of shit, and then Arn Sales comes up and you're just like, all right, I hate this guy.
Yeah, and Arn Sales is competent too. Like, he clearly got away from the police and somehow ended up here, and he somehow like knows like, yes, stupid like other guy. Well, he doesn't call him other. He calls him like Valentine or whatever his real name is. Like, he's still looking for the secrets here. What a fool! I know who the secrets are.
Yeah, it's like, go away. You're just making Piranesi.
Yeah.
You're just like ruining Piranesi's time. He could be spending.
You're just hurting our boy. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, just want to enjoy some birds. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking. I have a bunch of things that I could say.
Well, then say them.
Let's say them. What else? Those are two end game. We talked about the other. Yeah, what do you think that the other was actually trying to achieve by getting great and secret knowledge? Like, was it really just, like, being able to fly or being invisible? Or, I don't know. Was it just to, like, prove himself better than Arn Sales?
I think it was some of, like, this inferiority complex, right?
Yeah.
Because Arn Sales, like we find out, has had all these students that he, like, dragged into his cult.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like, clearly, like, Valentine or the other is not actually that intelligent. He just, like, heard of, like, a possibility of having, like, all these superpowers and went for it.
Yeah.
And he also, like, isn't actually that intelligent. He needs, like, Piranesi to, like, do all the mapping for him. He, like, keeps giving away secrets of what he's supposed to be hiding. He's terrible at, like, keeping secrets. He's, like, very emotionally manipulative, which is, like, the only thing he is good at.
Yeah.
But is it really something he's good at if you're emotionally manipulating someone who literally has like post-retrograde amnesia?
Yeah, right.
It's like he can't even really think for
Yeah, he can't.
himself.
Yeah. At the same time, though, with Piranesi himself, like he considers himself a scientist at the beginning of the book, and like we kind of find out that he's an unreliable narrator pretty early on. But like knowing how his story really plays out, like does it change your understanding of like, I don't know, like does it make you think that he's less of a scientist or like a less of a researcher? Because we find out like that he's taken extremely good notes on like what he was trying to research before he gets, you know, shoved into the house. And even then he has like extremely good research on the house. So I feel like he's still smart. He just can't remember anything.
Right. I do think like he's smarter than the other.
Yeah.
And like I think he says this later on too.
Yeah.
Like he recognizes he is smart. He recognizes Raphael, who is the like 16th person that like comes in later.
Yeah.
As smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think he is intelligent. It's just that he doesn't have like, it's like smart, but not having the resources, you know?
Yeah, he didn't have the resources. Like he was convinced, I don't even remember what it was. Like he was convinced that, oh, he was like, we shouldn't search for the great and secret knowledge of the other, and the other like convinces him that he should still do it. But Piranesi's like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, and then he gets
he's like, he also like comes up with like the conclusion that it doesn't exist here, like on his own.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it probably just doesn't even exist here, guys.
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, and that's proven
It's so dangerous
correct.
to look for it, and like it's probably not even here in these endless corridors is nothing.
Right, I know.
Yeah,
it's not here.
He really does prove to himself to be incredibly smart.
Yeah,
and I think it's, I mean, he is just a crazy guy, unfortunately, in the end. That's just where he ends up. I don't think it's where he started. That's just where he ended up.
Yeah, but I think
which
like,
is so unfortunate.
I mean, the mad scientist trope is a trope for a reason, I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think it's like.
I wouldn't consider him.
I don't.
mad
No, I don't
scientist,
think he's
though.
a mad scientist. I just think it's like not that different.
Because he retains some like ethics, you know.
That's true. He does have ethics.
I don't think a mad scientist would.
Yeah.
Mad scientists would have their own ethics, and those ethics would be incredibly fucked up.
Yeah, that's true. But like, Piranesi genuinely cares about the birds and the people, even though they are only skeletons. Even after like the end, he's like, ah, yes, and you will just be another skeleton, and I will take care of your bones.
I'll take care of the bone.
I like the way he said it. I don't like the way you said it.
You don't like it?
Okay, fine.
Take care of your bones.
Look, I waited a whole 30 minutes to start beef with Toto. It's fine.
You want to start beef with me?
Come
on, bring
right
it.
Now, who would rather beat up if they say we will take care of your bones right now?
No, I think that's weird. Don't take care of my bones. Don't worry about it. Those are my bones. Leave them alone.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Toto. Next outfit, witch doctor.
Oh,
Witch doctor.
No.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, are you speaking from the standpoint of being a reformed mad scientist, or?
I've basically never been a mad
I
scientist.
know.
Like, even when I did
Hey,
like I dropped the mad
opportunities.
scientist thing so quick.
I know. It's just funny because I remember those days.
Yeah.
When we were all stuck in roleplay mode.
Yeah.
Kayfabe world.
I couldn't do it. I basically just like stopped immediately.
It gets silly so quick. It really does.
It was because like I was teaching at the time, and like I couldn't, you know, be myself while I was teaching because I had to mail pass. So like streaming was the place I could be myself.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that also plays into the identity thing because like Piranesi is also like unsure of who he is, and as he's slowly recovering like pieces of the shredded journals that he left before he lost his memory, he's like slowly trying to understand what he himself wrote, but at the same time recognizing like this isn't me anymore. This isn't who I am.
Yeah. I think actually his like his thought process or how he felt about everything, like realizing that his old self is like deep within him. I have read about like people that have retrograde amnesia feeling that way, so I felt like it was just realistic, I guess. That like you don't remember anything even if other people tell you that that's a life you lived. So, and even when the conclusion of the book, he's like that's a different version of him too.
Right. He's not Piranesi, and he's not who he was before. He's not, I forget his name, Rose Garden. No, that's
Matthew Rose Sorensen.
yeah. He had like a really long, annoying name. And Piranesi always says it like the entire full name.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he always writes whatever name he heard first. So that one guy, he always says poor James Ritter, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just poor James Ritter.
Yeah.
And he does find James Ritter like alive later on.
He does. He's still poor James Ritter though.
Yeah. Poor
funny.
James Ritter.
It's really funny. At least he's consistent.
Yeah, I like that he's committed to the bit. I don't think he realizes that, but I thought it was very funny. Because, like, you have those people in your life who, like, have a stupid nickname or they're known for, like, one dumb thing. And you can't not remind them of it.
Right. How do you, I guess, staying in the house for a little bit longer, how do you feel about the house? Do you think it's a good place or a bad place? And do you think that it's like commenting on the relationship between humans and their environments? Or is it something else? This is just what I was thinking when writing notes.
I've been answered first this whole time, so
Yeah.
I definitely thought.
My answer would be, it depends. Like you said, if it's the contrast between the person and the environment, what you want out of it is what you'll get, but perhaps not in the way that you anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
So if our MC feels that the house gives and provides, then perhaps he had his needs met, but there could have been a price to receive those things, which is him, I guess, well, not him directly, but like kind of going crazy, but like you really don't understand why or how, and you're just like, well, was it good for him if he kind of went crazy, just going up and down like these halls for however long he felt or actually did? So I think it is just like based off of what somebody wanted to receive from being there. So a simplest way, just like a genie's wish, that you think like, oh, you could say you want $1 million, but like, oh, the genie stole it from a bank, so you're gonna get in trouble. Like, you don't always get exactly what you want.
Oh yeah. Actually, that's kind of the conclusion I came to. I started thinking, is there like some religious allegory here? Because the policewoman's her last name is Raphael.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that like for characters that they don't have bad intentions to the house seems to be more of a place of peace. But for characters that go in and have bad intentions, it's like not a very nice place to it, or it's scary to them. Or they don't think of it as a place of like rest or has any kindness to them. So I don't know. It's weird. I guess it's like a state of mind type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it kind of like as a true neutral place. Like,
oh, sure.
It's not good, it's not bad. It's just there. It just exists. And it's not for your sake that it exists. It is just, existing for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the house is one of those things where, like, you are happening to the house is not happening to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an important mentality sometimes, especially in the world. A lot of people forget that, like, this world just exists. We are happening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you can see the mindsets, because, I mean, like, our narrator, he worked with the house. He worked through all the problems that he had. The house had things that were an opportunity, and he used that to provide for himself. I rarely like the idea of like an inanimate thing providing for somebody, but you know, in such a way the world, you know, the world provides. The world is a living thing that we exist upon, and it does provide for us. So in the same way, the house provided.
Yeah.
Which does explain why the house reacted, you know, so aggressively to the other. Because it tried to drown him early on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Did the house try to drown him, or did he almost drown because he had no respect for the house, though?
I think
Good question.
both truths can exist at the same time.
Or, as well, did he drown because of his bad convictions? Could he,
Oh, the
could he
other
have suffered or
person?
suffocated
Yeah.
under his own persecution?
Yeah, or he was just like, you know, his own hubris that drove him to like, I gotta get here and find those hidden secrets.
I think the water thing is the classic example they teach you when you're reading in like high school, like when you go into water in a book and you either come out a changed person or you die.
Right.
And he died. So
yeah.
Yeah, which I was like, oh wow, I remember reading that in The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think you're right, Rom. Yeah, it's like he couldn't reconcile, he couldn't change. He was so hell bent on, I don't know, making magic happen for him, and thinking that 16 was a bad person.
Yeah.
And
well,
dangerous.
he was like from his perspective, she kind of was because she was going to arrest him.
Yeah.
But
that's true. But
I'm trying to make magic happen. Magic's not gonna happen.
Magic, it's not gonna happen.
I mean, magic did happen. They're in a freaking other dimension.
It's
Toto!
It is literally a portal fantasy, but
yeah, but I think like that makes it good though, because then it's just like, you know, like he can't even appreciate that they are in like a magical dimension. He just keeps looking for more stuff, more shit.
Yeah, he can't just appreciate like the wonder of what's actually existing in front of him.
Exactly.
It needs to be more. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Piranesi says towards the end of the book, like, if I leave, then the house will have no inhabitant, and how will I bear the thought of it being empty? Yet the simple fact is, if I remain in these halls, I will be alone. What would you have done if you were in Piranesi's position? I guess you can't really put yourself in his shoes because he doesn't remember anything.
I don't know if I could have found out I was a different person and not want to find out what that different person experienced.
Yeah.
Like, even though I wasn't a different person, like, he explicitly says he feels like a different person. So I'm going off of that mindset. If I found out I had a different life, that a thing happened to me, that now I don't remember it, I would want to go re-explore. Personally.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be brave enough to leave, like, where I was comfortable, though. You know?
That's
you
true.
can't like seaweed that much.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
Fish and seaweed.
But, like,
it's not his worst life. So
yeah, it's
There's
like sushi every day.
But...
Without the rice, sashimi every day.
Yeah, sashimi every day.
But no, it's like you know, when you get into like that space of like, this is all I know, this is like the boundary of what I know.
Yeah.
It is difficult for people to wake up and be like, okay, but what else is there out there, and take that leap into the unknown, you know?
Yeah. I agree. I think I don't know if this is the correct interpretation, but I think like Piranesi ultimately decided to leave because they had a hello, thank you, hold on, sorry. I had a thought. Thank you very much for the raid, Ursia.
Hi, Ursia.
Hi, Ursia. Welcome. We are discussing Piranesi by Susanna Clark, so if you haven't read it and you're scared of spoilers, maybe just lurk and mute me. And you want to read the book. It is a nice book and it's short, so I kind of recommend it, but thank you very much.
Don't lie to them, it's not short. That shit was 6 hours on fucking
That's a
That's not
short
too long.
audiobook.
Just,
I
just
can't.
under 7
I
hours,
had
yeah.
to create places to drive to and attach my Bluetooth speaker to my internet, which I haven't done since I freaking moved in here last April to
I thought it was a fun
listen.
read though. Like after the first 2 hours, it kind of starts flowing, you know.
Yeah, it was just inconvenient because I had already started the audiobook
Yeah.
on Spotify and it was 6 hours long, so I didn't want to move over to a book.
Yeah,
So I was locked in and I was mad about it.
I understand. Oh, oh crap. Oh yeah, I was talking about the end. So spoilers. I'm talking about the end of this book. um. So Matthew Rose Sorensen, now Piranesi, decides to leave the house, but I think he does that because Raphael is like so kind to him compared to the other, and tells him like lets him make his own decision, and he realizes that he's pretty lonely without other people around. But
Yeah, he was alone before, but he thought that the other was in this world with him. when
he
actually
thought he
was just
wasn't
leaving
actually
everything.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the
It is a different vibe when you're going through some bullshit and you think, okay, well, at least this other person's dealing with it too. And then to find out that they've, to
They're
some degree,
not.
betrayed you because they're not going through it too. And it's like, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah. I don't know what I think I'm kind of in your boat, Toto. I think I wouldn't have wanted to leave. Or it would have
Yeah.
taken me a long time to make the decision.
I feel like
'cause-
I would have needed more than just Raphael. I would think I would have needed a therapist to come in and help me.
Yeah, that's fair. He did need a therapist.
Yeah.
I don't know how he needed a therapist. He had been talking to me for 6 fucking hours, man. I felt like a therapist. This motherfucker spent so many sessions with me, just doing his thing, and I was like, Jesus Christ, my guy, please.
What would you have done, Realm?
I think I'd be very torn. I am always someone who likes to try new things.
Mm.
So I'm always an advocate. I always like tell my familial people or friends that I'm just like, I'm like, oh well, I'm not judging, but I would like you to try expand your horizons a little bit, try something a little different. Do I take my advice? I try to as best I can, but like to certain degrees, like this is equivalent to like picking up your entire life. Even with understanding your life's fragmented to somewhere completely new. So it'll be tough. It'd be tough if I made the
It's
leap.
a whole new world, though. You know,
There's more than 70 people in it.
it's like
Oh my God.
it's more than just trying like a cuisine or something. It's like, you want to try this new dimension, guys?
Yeah, it's like picking up and moving cross state, truly.
Yeah, or like
It's like,
another
well, you
country,
live in the southern US. Let's go live in fucking Russia. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to start all over, babes. And it would be scary, but I also think it would be doable, and you'd really have to find yourself in a way that you didn't know yourself prior.
Yeah.
And I think that could be regrounding for him. I mean, after it was done being scary, it could be very regrounding. Or, maybe he's like, F it, and goes back into the house.
Well, at the end, he does go back to the house, but only to visit.
Yeah.
Well, you could scare yourself into staying back at the house. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what
No, you're right. You're totally right.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a lesson this book is trying to teach you, that like sometimes you do have to take that risk and take that leap and get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I don't know if you all felt this way, but I felt that the book wasn't really telling me how I should think. It was kind of letting me decide how I felt about everything.
True.
Yeah, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, usually it's like, oh, start that riot, take the risk. And you're just like, no, I don't,
like,
that's not
if you
not
want
maybe
to.
what I should do.
Do what you feel is right. Yeah. Yeah. Which I also think would either make some readers I think would hate that there isn't a message at the end, but I think it's nice.
Yeah.
So when I read books, especially as somebody who generally enjoys like young adult fiction, I kind of like that surge of like, you get up your spine after you finish the book and you're like, yeah, fuck the man, fuck the system. I'm gonna go dismantle everything. I'm gonna go build my own furniture, whatever. But it's really annoying after like the 45th time you get that tingle up your spine and you're not doing anything. Not truly, not really. And that's fine. You don't have, not everybody has to do a big thing. But it's really frustrating. And so to read a book that's just like, yeah, this happened. And you can just process your own emotions your own little way. That's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think... Hold on, let me look through my very messy notes. I wrote...
I gotta start taking notes.
To a certain degree, I think mental health was a big part of this book. But I think, personally, I thought it was like Piranesi making peace with himself, because he would have had to at some point, because he forgot everything, I guess. But then, because they can go back to the house, it's like retreating into your mind as a place of refuge instead of like escapism. And I think, like, I almost thought it was like, it's okay to escape sometimes, but don't forget about the other people, the other things. Although the house will probably make you forget about them if you stay too long, so don't stay too long.
I think part of it as well was just like, a theme was, escaping abuse.
Yeah, escaping
I think
abuse too.
part of it is also just like thinking of how your emotions and logic can be used to help you realize, like, hey, actually, even though I've been talking up the other this whole time, maybe he isn't so smart. Maybe he isn't being so good to me.
Yeah.
And how to come to those conclusions after, being lost for so long. Because, like, yeah, he had no memories, but at the same time, you see a lot of people in real life fall into these traps of, like, thinking like, oh, she just said that, or he just said that, but they actually love me. That's just their way of, that's just a love language, is giving me only plastic bowls and trapping me in this like liminal space.
Yeah. Actually, you're totally right. It is also like an escaping your abuser story. And I read a whole bunch of people discussing this and nobody mentioned that. I was surprised.
So it's one of those, because I went on Reddit, because after about halfway through this book, I felt dumber than I'd felt in a very long time. And I went on Reddit because I was like, surely it can't just be me. Fun fact, it was. Because everyone else had these like deep, thoughtful, meaningful thoughts about this book. Like some people was like, oh yeah, you essentially feel like this guy's therapist. You're watching him like work through all these issues. Other people felt like it was like a story of hope. Things like that. Everyone got something different out of it, which was phenomenal. But you do see it in stories of people where they like recede into their brain to handle the abuse. And so the house being the metaphor for the brain, it will, like, if you recede into your brain too long, you will forget about everything going on around you.
Yeah.
To a terrifying degree.
It absolutely was not just you. Like, the people who probably did not get this book also just probably didn't write any comments.
It's so fair.
So it is totally not just you.
I looked up 1-star reviews on a couple websites, and one of them was just no in all caps.
Yeah. And also that you're taking the time to finish the book and come here and talk with us about it shows that, like, you're being more thoughtful about it now.
Yeah. And you're not dumb. This book is kind of confusing. So
it's a lot.
It is
especially
a lot.
verbally it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think reading it like physically would have been easier.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one time I tried something new, but I was like, no, I can't do that.
I mean, that's fair too. Like, if it's the first time you've done an audiobook, you're also not just not used to audiobooks either.
Yeah. You tried something new, just like Piranesi did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any more questions, actually.
Okay, well, I mean, we can start talking about, like, going towards the ending.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my last question was, what does the ending of the novel in reference to the house represent? We kind of already talked about that, though. But we can just talk about the end of the book, the last part.
Piranesi keeps finding, like, these hidden, like, messages around the house of, like, I forget his name. Sorensen,
Yeah,
whatever.
are you Matthew Rose Sorensen?
Yeah, and he's like, who?
Who? Yeah.
Who left these messages? I didn't write these messages, and who is like marking the walls with chalk and trying to find their way into here? What the heck? So he starts like investigating, and despite the other being very toxic and being like, no, don't talk to other people. All other people are just trying to trick you. Only trust me, kind of thing. He does eventually leave some messages for who he calls the 16th person, but we later find out her name is Sarah Raphael. And she, at first he thinks like, oh, this is a person who like knew me in the past life, and she's like caring about me. She's like trying to rescue me. But we find out later, no, she's a police officer, and she's just like doing this missing persons case. And she's like, I've never met you before, but I'm gonna get you out of here because that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Do we think, and it's okay if the answer is no, I was just curious, do we think that there is a certain symbology to the 16th person being a woman? Like the police officer being a woman? Because sometimes there is, but more often than not in books that I've read, police officers are rarely women. And we can assume a lot of like societal stereotypes and stuff, but I just didn't know if, in reference to the book, if we thought there was symbology there.
I don't know. That's a good question because, like, unfortunately, or maybe that's just how it goes, Raphael is, like, not there that much.
Yeah.
They're more of,
her
like, a
being
concept.
A woman doesn't really play into, like, most of the plot, except for, like, that one time that, like, he finds out she's a woman, and even though the other had basically lied to him and kept calling him he, and that was kind of like the first signs that like the other is lying to him about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not sure if there was symbology.
I wasn't terribly confident that, the police officer being a woman was relevant. I just also recognized that in a lot of books, that's not the case.
No.
Yeah. I think she just was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is for the best. It was just, I was thinking about it.
Yeah, because I wondered if that would come into play, but even when there's that other random police dude talking about her, he's just like, she's just that kind of person. She just does what needs to be done, which isn't really a matter of gender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of character. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't go the romance route. Like, maybe...
That'd have been so weird.
No, I
think
like, they're just
do
friends.
something, but, like, it seems like almost more meaningful that they are just like, hey, we shared this like life-changing experience together.
Yeah.
And we like care about each other in a human way, not because we have any sort of ulterior motives.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raphael does eventually come and find Piranesi, and this is right after Piranesi discovers that the lower floors are going to be flooded.
Yep.
So he tells. And also at this point, the other, or Valentine, which is like the most like British villain name ever.
Yeah, Valentine Ketterley. Yeah.
Yeah, Valentine Ketterley. Yeah, he like is planning to bring a gun and kill Raphael because, she's trying to arrest him for this missing persons case. And he's like, perfect, I'll use the flood and I'll get a boat and I'll get an inflatable raft and I'll like sit on that while she drowns. Yeah. And Piranesi, you're gonna help me. And Piranesi basically he's like no. Confronts him and is like, I know you've been lying to me. And he's like, shit. Well, you won't take me so easily. And then he gets taken really easily.
Yeah, by the water.
Yeah, by the water. And he tries to shoot at them, but like the statues almost seem to save them because, the statues do save them, but like not in a like they come to life kind of sense, in that they're able to take shelter on like the hands and shoulders of a large statue.
Yeah.
Which I liked that played a role into it. I liked that a lot of the stuff of the world actually played into the plot.
Yeah, it
And
did.
that's like a big difference from this and Time War, where I feel like a lot of the things in Time War didn't really have a large impact on the plot. They were just kind of like
Yeah.
there.
Everything, nothing mattered because it changed every chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Um, I think I think the other, he like shoots his gun at some point, but he's a horrible shot, so it does nothing. And then
Yeah.
he gets slammed up against the wall
Mm-hmm.
and dies. Horrible
Yeah.
way to go, but bro,
Yeah.
you
And
did kidnap the wrong person.
Piranesi keeps trying to like say like climb, you gotta climb, but he doesn't want to climb, and he keeps going after the boat that is just like floating away and being washed away by the waves, and that's causes him to fall into the water and drown.
Yep.
Like an idiot.
Well, it's very representative of who they are as people, though, because
Absolutely.
like Piranesi was like, well, you kind of fucked me over and up, but I'm gonna try and help you anyway, and the dude just couldn't get past his own bullshit to save himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
He was just bullshitting till the very end, you know.
Yep. Yeah. When it's safe to get down, Raphael like tells Piranesi who they are, and they've been looking for Matthew Rose Sorensen. I can't remember his name either.
Yep.
And yeah, she had been investigating Arn Sale's cult and the disappearances surrounding it, and realized that Piranesi is the person that she was looking for. But she doesn't make Piranesi do anything. She doesn't tell Piranesi that he's dumb or anything. She just like comes to him where he's at, and he breaks down at her kindness, which is like, no, he really was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he realized how like lonely he was, how sad, how abused he was, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, he even says like, oh, it was probably just Matthew Rose Sorensen crying through my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah,
he
does.
No, dude, it's okay. Let it out, man.
It's okay. Yeah. Ultimately, Piranesi does decide to leave the house, and he goes back to his home world. There's not a ton of information about what he does, but he does come back to the house from time to time, as does Raphael.
Yeah, and he also brings the other person that like
poor
Arn Sale's head. Yeah, like kidnapped, like the gay hooker he had kidnapped and trapped in here.
So rude.
As well, which is like, that is rude on multiple levels.
And illegal. But yeah, I think, yeah, Piranesi, I don't know what I guess he goes back to Matthew Rose Sorensen in the New World, but he thinks of himself as being a different person entirely.
Yeah. And he says he like still hears Piranesi like talk to him sometimes. Like Piranesi is like almost like in an innocence of like without human corruption. He's like, why do I have to pay things with money? How about you give me the things I want, and then later on when I have something you want, I'll give that to you.
Yeah.
Isn't that a better system?
It would be a nice
He would be
system.
right. That is a better system.
Yeah,
I would like to trade so many things for bread.
If we could trust people, right? Like that would be a better system if people actually, you know, were kind to each other.
Yeah. But capitalism makes no sense.
Yeah.
I would like to pay for things with bread, please.
Oh, yeah,
now, please.
Yeah.
I make a wicked sourdough. You can't wait. You want to give me things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Focaccia for internet, anyone?
I'll give you my focaccia and you give me your 5G.
How about I drive super duper safe and you give me insurance? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I would take that too. But yeah, the book ends a little bit quietly, but I think that's fine. I'm kind of glad it didn't end with like dramatics and sadness, and I kind of figured it wouldn't because Piranesi takes care of the albatross at the beginning, and if you take care of them or are nice to them, that's usually a sign of good luck, and if you hurt them, it's bad luck.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with albatross lore, apparently.
Yeah, usually people only put albatrosses in their books when they want it to be like the misfortune kind, but
Yeah.
it was the opposite here, which was fun to see. Yeah, I
I
mean,
have a question.
oh yeah.
What do you guys think the other world actually was, though? Or does it even matter? Because, like, it clearly has animals that were like our world, but it had, like, mythology that was from our world, too. But, like, there's no one there, and somehow it goes on infinitely. And they say it was, like, a dimension created by, like, the thoughts of humans or something like that.
Yeah.
What the heck does that mean?
That explains why it was so fucking confusing.
I'm gonna let Realm or Faye respond because I've been talking a lot. As I think
That was
too.
not a response. That was it.
I'm trying to think about like manifestations of people's like minds. Because like the only thing I can think of is when people say like the law of and some like pseudoscience or the law of attraction or manifesting your life, but like it was an actual created world. So like what was like the anchor that held that world together? You know what I mean? Like the only thing you can do is like you can just really think of like the occult or like spiritual, you know, spiritual mediums. If it was factually like an entirely different world, like, you know, stuff could have just been made up. But that's tough.
I'm not sure, and I don't even think the book really gives us a very good answer either because it doesn't want to.
Right.
I think to some degree it is a reflection of the real world because at the end Piranesi is like, oh, that person looks just like that statue that was in the book.
That was weird too.
Yeah, but I think it's just like the world and building block concepts, but not reality or something like that.
Almost reminds me of like in Full Metal Alchemist, like the empty world, like beyond
Oh yeah.
the door. Which in that case, they were also looking for some sort of like magical secrets, I guess.
Yeah. They were. Yeah, I don't know. But I guess I didn't really think about it that hard because to me what was more important was what the world was to Piranesi, and to him it's like everything. It's the how, what does he say at the very end? Here, I can flip. Da-da-da. There's like way too many pages in this book that are empty. The beauty of the house is immeasurable, its kindness infinite. And he says that at the beginning of the book too. I don't know. It's like it's a place of refuge and it's a place of beauty, but it's also a little scary because if you stay too long, you'll forget yourself.
Why? Why do you think you'll forget yourself in this world? Why is that one of the rules of this world?
I wonder.
I mean, again, if you want to equate it to being cooped up in COVID times, like a lot of people felt that one of the most common like feelings of socializing or being able to socialize, a lot of people lost that ability. Like myself included. I used to, you know, I know I yap a lot on here, but I used to be a lot more sociable and just like it just kind of flowed better. Just, you know, like years prior, because I just had to see people. It was like not a responsibility, but it was just sort of like the requisite of being like a young, like early 20s guy, just like hanging out with people post college, and it just kind of vanished in a way, like being by myself, or not myself, but having so much time for me and just like a confined space didn't really give it didn't give as much time to think, as rather it just sort of let things dissipate. And if you really care about what aspects of yourself you want to keep, too much of one thing can be like, you know, just as bad for you as what, you know, you didn't think it would be that bad, and it just quickly came up on you. Before you know it, you like you said, he lost a lot of himself going mad. So he could have felt one way, but now you don't know. He's a completely different person. And people probably felt that way once they came out and started working again.
I had a thought. How long do we even know how long poor James Ritter was in the other world?
I don't think so.
Because he seemed to not have lost as many memories.
Well,
but...
I think maybe he regained some when he came back to this world.
Okay.
But,
maybe it is that.
But also, like, time clearly works differently in there. And he, like, Piranesi has to invent his own way of keeping track of time.
Yeah.
I really don't think we know how long.
We don't know. That's okay. What we're almost saying made me think maybe like the abuse and whatnot impacted it, but I don't know.
Well, it definitely can.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll be right back. I need to let my dog out.
Okay.
And I guess I could have held this until Toto came back, but I know Toto works with youth sometimes, and you see it a lot with COVID. They call them the COVID kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the kids that were, their developmental years were pulled away from other children. They just had their familial units. And I kind of struggled with that mindset, specifically with the COVID thing, because my life didn't change. I was an essential worker during COVID. My life almost got worse. Like, I got more active, I was working more, and it was very frustrating. Ugh. Because it was like, well, now that everybody's forced to be home, they're all in this fucking shop right now. Why are you all at Target?
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
I remember making a joke this is a tangent, but it's kind of funny. It's very macabre. Heads up. There was we had a day where we'd come in early, and there was a small shift of us. It was less than a skeleton shift, truly. It was like 3 or 4 of us. And it was like Wednesdays, an hour before we opened. The old people's home would drop off like a group of like elderly citizens to wander around and do some shopping. Well, one time they did it during the middle of the day, and I made a joke to a coworker that they were trying to make space in the home. But I said it was macabre. I warned you. But it's just one of those things that it's like, my life didn't change, so anything referencing COVID times I kind of struggle with because I almost got busier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
My trauma with working through COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear that part at the end or the beginning.
My story. Oh, I was gonna say I was sad that you had walked off because I know that you sometimes work with the youth and you interact with COVID kids more than
it's
a lot
rough.
of us get the opportunity to, and they have really struggled developmentally.
Yep, absolutely, both socially and educationally.
A lot of them, it has been reported, a lot of them came out to be extremely strong readers, but that's woo, I guess.
Yeah, but no, there's just learning gaps, is what we call them. Just like you were supposed to have learned this, and you moved on to the next grade where they said that you have passed, which means you should have learned this thing.
Yeah.
But clearly you don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we have to spend time to reteach you now.
Yeah.
Reteaching Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and stuff like that.
At the same time, I think because you were just saying that you were busy, Faye, I feel like Piranesi is very relevant to the times of COVID because we were all involuntary imprisoned. Not all of us, but a lot of us were. But those that weren't, a lot of people would start kind of just the monotony of life, and they would feel like they were losing their minds a little bit. But Piranesi doesn't totally lose his mind because he's keeping himself busy. He has
he keeps himself busy with tasks. Mine was just keeping, the community around me going.
Yeah.
Was essentially all, because it was a Target. It wasn't by all means, I should not have been working. I'm be very real. Our little snack section was not the same thing as a Kroger or a Walmart or whatever your local grocery store is called.
Right.
But regardless, much to my demise, we were working, and that's fine. I actually went 4 years before I got COVID, which is wild. But anyway,
Me too.
yeah, I got COVID like last January.
I got it.
I waited years till it was over. But yeah, so it was interesting being in that. And I don't think very much about it until like I read things like that and I'm like, ugh, I cannot imagine having this much time on my hands because I truly didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, keeping busy was kind of the key. And I remember even talking to like some of my relatives, and they're like, "I'm just so bored. What do I do?" And I was like, "You could read a book. You could like take up a hobby." And they'd be like, "No, I need to go outside." I was like, "Okay, well,
You don't.
try not
Fun
to get
fact.
sick."
I actually got healthier over COVID because I had time to go home and exercise.
Right? Yeah. I know. But yeah, I mean, Piranesi, I don't know, always kept himself busy, and I think that helped him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of gave himself like a job for the house, which
Yeah.
was kind of cool. I mean,
Mhm.
it's what's necessary. It's what you do when you're trapped in a place, even if it's metaphorical.
Yeah. Also, sorry, Ram, I wasn't trying to steamroll. What you said made me think, and then I thought I was coming on to a great conclusion, and then I didn't really have one. Sorry about that.
Honestly, I already forget what I was talking about.
Ron
Honestly,
was like, "Great, I love that for you." What
I say exactly like I say what I say, and then I just kind of like, all right, you
The
guys
brain
can
worm has
can
left the
wrestle with
building.
it. I'm out of here. Like, you know.
I have to
I'm outta
go.
here.
Leaving us to our thoughts, huh?
Okay.
What's
okay.
that meme from Sailor Moon where it's like, "I've
Oh.
done my part. You haven't done
didn't do
anything."
Oh yeah,
anything.
yeah. Goodbye.
My work here is done. You haven't done anything. Flip skip.
Mm-hmm. But also, I also did have to work during COVID, but I worked at a bank, so like people actually did meet me. As much as I was like, do you really like? Can you hold off? You know, some people were like, even people who came in, they were like surprised that we were open, even though I just don't think people really understood banking structure at that point. But you know, having to be hyper aware of like the constant cleaning, the interacting with people, the dirty ass money, the people who would not cover up or do a bunch of different things made you like it broke you down in a similar way as having to be home all the time. Like I had to go home and just like throw my stuff in the basement immediately. I didn't go anywhere else. Like before I had to change and then shower and stuff like that. It became such a cyclical routine that like I said, it just wore you down.
Yeah.
And became a problem for some people. I still think people are like more inclined to just kind of like instinctively react and be like, "Oh, that shit's dirty. Like I gotta do something about it," rather than be like, "No, it's fine. Like everything's not during that time where everything has to be like cyclically clean."
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody had a different experience. I was just at home and I was kind of like becoming healthier because I was at home.
Commutes were great. No one was out.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I could
Were
work
you
from
not
home
stopped by
again.
the cops all the time, Realm?
No.
I had a specialty note to get to work and to be able to leave at work at whatever hours I needed to, both at Target and Publix, and I would get stopped by the cops regularly. And they'd get on to me for being out, and I was like, I'm literally going to work.
Wow.
No, I think only time is end of the month. New York cops like to give out tickets a lot, so I
think that's what all cops think.
Yeah.
Georgia
wouldn't
does that too.
wouldn't speed, and I never got pulled over till like last year. So that was like, they're kind enough, but it's just like there's so many things going on like where I am because it's such a confined space. I think people just don't bother.
You know, that really pissed me. It really made me late a lot too, because I was like,
That's terrible.
In Japan, they give you little vouchers for your train if you're late to your job because of it. Nope.
But Realm, we don't live in Japan.
We don't live in.
Well, I mean, like my coworkers were very
better.
understanding because like everyone at that point had gotten. It was essentially a badge of honor to get pulled over.
Oh wow.
That's so
that
stupid.
Because it was like, who got what cop got you? You know?
Yeah, which one? Oh my god.
My goodness.
Oh wait, I just remembered. Have any of you ever looked into or know about Aleister Crowley? You could say no, it's okay.
Why does that sound familiar?
It sounds familiar, but I can't pin it.
He's a real life guy who was like, I'm so smart, and I'm gonna. He started a cult, and he brainwashed a lot of people into taking part in his magical experiments, quotation marks. And I'm pretty sure that guy is who Lawrence Arnsales is based on.
What's his name?
Aleister Crowley.
Such a pin name.
Yeah, he's referenced a lot in like Japanese anime, like what do you call it?
It's
like
Crawley.
Crawley?
Sorry, no, it's a joke. It's a joke from, oh god, what's it called? Good Omens.
Oh, Good Omens. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if you were referencing.
His name was
Crawley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because but it's like this version of Aleister Crowley actually succeeded in his magical experiments, but he still tortured people.
He's still
a person.
Very crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I also wonder if him going to prison, actual like human real world prison, was supposed to be like a parallel to Piranesi's also prison, but there's no one there. But I didn't care about him that as much. I don't know.
He also didn't change for the better after going to prison. He was still an asshole.
Yeah, he's still just an asshole.
He got away with it too. He like got away at the end.
Yeah.
No one arrested him or anything.
There weren't any of those damned kids.
Yeah,
sorry.
There weren't
Anyway.
any meddling kids.
Yeah. I genuinely wouldn't know who Aleister Crowley was if he didn't frequently show up in the Otome games I play, but he does. It's weird. He's always the antagonist.
First of all, that's hilarious. Second of
really
all,
funny.
I'm surprised I didn't know about this because I'm big into cult activity and stuff.
Oh
so.
yeah, he's cult man, cult old.
Like one of my big things I want to do, because there's that God, I forget where it is now, but it's big on this hiking trail, and it's a commune place where you can go and like while you're traveling through, you can get like a hot meal and a warm place to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's run by a cult, and they try to like get you into the cult while you're staying
God.
there. And I want to go see if they'll try and pick me up.
Oh my god.
Why would you want this?
Because I have nothing else going on, Toto.
If you don't come back, I'm going to find you and bring you back.
That's so valid. That's so valid. I won't fall for it because I know it's bullshit.
Well, I'll have to go. We're getting the band together. We're gonna go save Faye.
Oh my goodness.
Save Faye from a cult, and I'm just harassing the cult leader.
Faye just fell into a portal. We have to get her out of the house.
And they're like,
Quick,
oh my
we
God,
have to
please,
rescue
you're
all those poor
here.
cult members from
You have
Faye.
exactly. I'm not in the cult with them. They're in the cult with me.
Yeah,
You're
Rorschaching
attracted
it
to
up.
you.
Okay.
That's wonderful. I think those were all of the notes I took. My notes were crazy. Like I did not usually I write in chronological order. I did not do that this time. I guess I went crazy with Piranesi as I wrote.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's okay. He has his own time. How many days after the albatross landed in the southern corner did you write it? You know.
Oh, you're right.
That's all you need to write it.
It was a lot of days. What was the last entry before he went? Here, I'm gonna look. Before he leaves. I leave. Yeah, he leaves on the first day of the 10th month in the year the albatross came to the Southwestern Halls. So, like, October, I guess. Maybe.
I have to wonder what happened to the like verbal narrator from Spotify after he had to read that a gazillion fucking times. Because I would not have survived it.
I think he was pretty professional. He even gave a little like extra voice acting for like the other characters.
That's good.
Assuming we listened to the same one. Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just funny. Like I would not have been able to physically survive having to say that shit all the fucking time.
That's the kind of like, voice actor I want to be though. I want to do all the voices when I read an audiobook.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it without commentary. If somebody wants a voice actor who does commentary sarcastically, let me know. I don't think I could do it without the commentary.
I actually hate it when audiobook narrators don't do any voices. It's like, that's your job.
I
Yeah.
know. It's literally us in kindergarten. Like, do the voices.
Do the voice. Yeah, totally.
Do the rar.
Do the rar.
Do the rar.
I'm gonna look up who the audiobook narrator is. I can't. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So yeah, I guess I've said this before. I completely 100% get why this book was so popular since it came out in 2020. I don't know if it would do as well now. I think it would do well now, actually, because we all lived through it.
Probably.
Yeah, but I don't know if it would do well pre 2020.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if it would do as well. I think it would still do well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, he's like a Shakespearean actor, the guy that did the audiobook.
He fucking better be, because damn.
He's best known for being Othello. And he won an award for being Othello.
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 Oh, hello.
Othello. I pronounce words with an O funny now because everyone says oligarchy now, and I was like, I thought it was pronounced oligarchy my whole life.
It is oligarchy. What do you mean oligarchy?
I hear everyone say oligarchy now, like in like podcasts and the news and whatnot. I was like, what the fuck is oligarchy? So now I'm saying things like Othello.
Happened? Did like one person like say oligarchy before like everyone knew what an oligarchy was?
Yeah, everyone says oligarchy.
It's oligarchy. God,
I fucking hate it here.
I know. So now when I see something like Othello, I'm like, it's Othello.
This is the GIF and GIF conversation all over again. Fuck off.
I'm sorry.
It's GIF. My goodness.
GIF and GIF, yeah.
I remember one of my friends was like, it's GIF, just like giraffe. And I'm like,
Olive Garden.
Giraffe is not sounding the same as how you said GIF.
Oh, he's the voice of Scar in the live-action Lion King.
Oh,
that's
wow.
solid. That's cool.
Wow. I haven't seen that movie.
What?
I also haven't.
Well, I've seen Lion King, but I haven't seen the live-action one.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I was like, how the fuck have you guys survived childhood?
I've seen the Lion King, just not the live action.
Olive Garden.
The not live action one.
Chaos.
The CG one.
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden. Gargan.
Did you know they mentioned Olive Garden in Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
I'm sorry, that was how long you go.
Oh no. Well, I guess that was Piranesi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope you at least, I don't know, kind of enjoyed it. I liked it, actually.
I liked it by the end.
Yeah.
I actually liked what it was doing. I liked how like you uncovered the secrets, and by the end it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It took a while to get there, like a good 1/3 of the book to get there, but then after that kind of went pretty smooth.
Yeah.
At least to me.
Yeah, no, to me too. I still need to commission the Star and Slug rating thing. Someone remind me to do that in like 2 days, so I will do it.
Faye, remind me to remind Trips in 2 days.
Yeah,
I'll make an alarm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was about to say, don't ask me.
Because I know I don't have
the
time
last
to
person
do
you
it
wanna
tomorrow, but I'll have time on Thursday to do it.
Faye, remind Realm to not remind us.
I'll make another note.
Sick.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, if you're here and you don't know, a star, we do give a star and a slug rating. The star rating is our personal rating for the book, a subjective rating, and the slug rating is if we would recommend it to others, how much we would recommend it to others, or an objective rating. Who wants to go first? If we want to do this.
Realm
Yeah,
Realm hasn't talked a lot.
go
I'm
Realm.
gonna volunteer him.
Whoa.
Unless you don't want to go first.
No,
Howard,
I'm
do
good.
it.
I'm remembering Star is the objective, and Slug is how
Star
much
is
we recommend this.
subjective. Star is us because we're the stars.
Yeah, we're the stars.
I thought Sluggy would be us because this is the Slug Club.
No,
But the
Toto's the
slugs are the
slug.
fans.
The sluglings
Wait,
are
Toto's the
fans.
slug. I'm not a slug. I'm a turtle.
I'm a slug.
Sorry, I meant Trips.
Star.
You know how Rome and I look alike? You guys sound alike, so
We do?
Yeah, probably.
Slug. I'm just writing my
your
notes.
names at least.
Yeah. Toto and
Slug
Trips, yeah.
objective. Okay, so for my general objective rating, I thought it was. It took me a while to get into it. It never really grabbed me per se. It was just some degrees of understanding for the book, and of course now I don't really get into religion a whole lot, but there is symbolism. So they're using Raphael as a name, so I thought that's sort of symbolism. If you don't know, like Raphael in certain religious corners is like supposed to be like a healer or protector of sorts, which kind of works really well with being a police officer. And my thing was that if that, to me, that pretty much means that to some degree, you know, Piranesi is like healed in some way, or like he has gone through his whole training of sorts. Like I guess went through the whole session with his therapist. And they're like, all right, you think you made a breakthrough, and like, you know, Raphael was like the symbolism or representation of that. So you know, it made enough references to help you draw a conclusion without me being so utterly confused as I was for, like, you know, the time before it. So objectively I'd say like a solid, you know, like 6.5, 7. I thought it was just like good writing. Had a vision. Didn't have to exactly. This book gave its way to where you didn't have to give every answer, and I think some people really like that. I mean, enough people where they got an award, so I'm gonna say solid. Subjective. I would. It's not my type of book personally. I like to think, of course. I wouldn't be here if I really didn't, you know, want to be so close-minded. It did make you think about questions, which, you know, you have to be able to think without being so utterly lost. If that's how you gain motivation, is by being utterly lost and you look for those clues, sure. But I don't think a lot of people like to be so utterly clueless, and, you know, I would say I'm torn because this is supposed to be subjective, but also how much you would recommend it to people. I don't think a lot of people would go into a book like this for that sort of reason, or, you know what I mean? I just like the people I speak to, or the people I hear like their criticisms about things that they enjoy when they read, when they escape. I don't think they want to escape into a labyrinth. That's like a labyrinth of life is literally behind them. That's not really like their MO. I think we're gonna combine them. I'll probably just say probably 6. Generally, I just don't think some people would want to be even more confused at the end of the day. But it does give you enough pointers where you could very well be interested. It could be people's things. They never know. So I'd say most people could give it a shot.
Okay, I guess I'll go next.
Sure.
So subjectively is how much I feel like I enjoyed the book, and I think I actually really did enjoy this book. I think in some ways, like, yes, it is confusing, but if you look at it more of like a mystery book where you're like piecing together and you're learning with the narrator, like what is going on, I think that makes the book more enjoyable. And I think I liked the sort of story it was trying to tell at the end. I did have to look up like a summary to like better understand what the heck was happening. But after that, I think it made a lot of sense, and it said a story in an interesting way that also, did not need to spend more time developing like extra characters that it really didn't need to. So I actually really didn't enjoy it. Kind of, it seems weird to say it, but like it's a complex story, but at the same time, it's a simple story. Like at the end of the day, there's not that much that happens, and a lot of the convoluted bits are more internal than external. However, objectively, how much I would slug rating. Star rating subjectively, I would say I would give this an 8 out of 10. I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it more than the other epistolary novel we read, Time War, How to Lose a Time War. That one just took a lot of interesting imagery, but didn't really do a lot with them, whereas this book took that imagery and actually did stuff with them. So I enjoyed that. Objectively, how much I would recommend it, I would give this a 5, though. Like Realm said, some people just like being entertained, and while this is a fun book, it's fun for a certain type of person who's like looking for that like mystery, I don't see this being fun for people who one, don't like epistolary like type stories, and two, are not looking for something that they have to like reread and untangle. So yeah, I would only give this a 5 recommendation.
I get it.
For me, my subjective, it was giving me screw tape letters, but part of me wonders if that's just because of the accents, because they were both audiobooks I consumed, and the accents were similar. I don't know if it was the same person reading it. I don't think it was, but I don't know if that's the reason why, or if it was just like all the big words ever to have evered were just in this fucking book.
I think also that this author was heavily influenced by C.S. Lewis. So
they were, yeah. I knew about that, which is probably why it was giving me screw tape letter vibes. And I didn't love the screw tape letters. Like I walked away with it going, okay, and yeah, good luck. So I kind of walked away with the same kind of vibe, and as I've expressed before, like I walked away kind of feeling like the therapist that didn't get paid. Where you were just subjected to all of this wandering thought, and you walked away not really having anything to do with it. So for me, I guess as somebody who would prefer to be slightly more entertained by a book, I'm gonna give it a lower rating of like a 4. But it was a good book. I mean, it would have had to be a good book. It won an award, you know what I mean? So it in the sense of bookliness, I'm gonna give it a 6.
Cool.
I guess.
I love the bookliness.
It
you
was
really have
book.
a way with words.
You know what? They're so useful,
Yeah, beautiful. I love it.
I love how bookly your wordly words were.
I didn't reclaim to be good at my job.
It's wonderful. Never change. I guess it's my turn then. I'll do slug rating first. So for one thing I did find when trying to find like a bit more information on this book is that it seems that this is it's increasingly being like assigned as like college literature to read for like English classes and whatnot, and I can totally see that this book becoming that. This book almost feels like a book that you would read to like teach things yeah, in school, which I kind of like it for, but who I would recommend this to a reader who mostly just reads literary fiction but wants something a little funky, because that's definitely this. And I don't know, but would I recommend it to like my friends? No, I actually had my friend reached out to me and was like, "Oh, you finished the book? What'd you think of it?" And I was like, like, should I read it? And I was like, so I think it's like a 6 on the recommend.
Can we get that exact sound as like a sound redeem? Is that?
It's like I just like
the perfect iteration of a door being opened.
Like, I just don't know. Like, I think that it's a book that you could learn, like, if you're trying to, like, I don't know, interpret, like, write an essay on it. Like, this is good book to read if you need to write a book report. But would I recommend it just for your own enjoyment? I'd have to find the very specific kind of person for that.
Right.
Yeah. I did enjoy
I
it,
could
though.
chat on for bookliness, but Trips just said a book, and we're good with that.
Book.
Hold on.
This is my stream. I can get away with anything.
All right, that's fair.
Listen,
You win.
it's because I respect Trips, okay?
Oh my god. Oh no.
I was waiting for the right time to burn. Okay.
You're both bookly smart. Thank you. For my personal rating, my star rating, I actually think it's like an 8 out of 10 because it kind of hits a lot of the points I like in books, which is I like epistolary novels, and I really, really like unreliable narrators, but it's hard to find a book that has a unreliable narrator written correctly and well. And I think Piranesi does a really good job at being an unreliable narrator, and I didn't hate him. I just felt really bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I would never want to reread it, but I enjoyed what it was. I also like that this book didn't overstay its welcome. It's only 240 pages. If it was longer than that, I think I would start to hate it. Because it would just be too much nothing.
I think this book deserves rereads, and then you can look back at like, oh,
you're right, but
I
I don't
tell
wanna.
that this was when he was crazy. That's totally fair.
You're totally right, Toto. I just don't wanna. But yeah, if I ever took like a class where I had to if I could pick any book, this book would be really easy to write about. And I did enjoy my time reading it, but I don't know who I would recommend it to. And I feel weird that I recommended it because I wasn't expecting to pick something that was so like normal book clubby. Like something like normal, like I don't know, that you would find at like a
It's too late. We're normie book club now. We're not.
Trips and I
normie
were
book
having a
club.
genuine conversation about how sad we were that the main character wasn't a satyr.
Yeah, I really thought that he was going to turn out to be a minotaur, and he thought he was human the
Yeah,
whole
I thought he was
time.
gonna be like some sort of mythical creature, and then he like didn't even realize that he was some sort of like monster or something.
And he wasn't a monster.
He was just a guy
He's just a
named
poor
Matthew
man.
Rose Sanderson or whatever his name was.
Matthew Rose Sorensen, which is fine. That was a nice message too, but I really wanted him to be a minotaur. Anyway, I don't even know how I feel about this book.
If you guys could change any one thing about this book, what would you change to make it?
The vestibules.
Just not say the word vestibule. But vestibule is such a specific like type of architecture hall, though.
Yeah, but you don't need to say it 1,000 fucking times.
That's true.
I would give someone else a perspective.
Mm.
I would get different journal entries at the very least.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite thing in epistolary novels when somebody else writes a journal entry, and you're like, oh, who could it be? Yeah, that's I love that.
Who could it be? What do they see?
And I guess suppose we get
What's
the
past the
like
time?
we get that, but it's Piranesi is like, who wrote that? But we know who wrote it, so it's not as exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what would I change? I don't know. I think change or edit the conversation that Piranesi has with Arn Sales, because I didn't think it did as much for the plot as I wanted it to. Like, it revealed stuff, but
but then like it also just like Arn Sales just never shows up again.
Yeah, and Piranesi reads exactly what happens in his own journal. Like the same, it was just like repeating it. That was the only thing I think, because I was like,
I think it was like confirming at least, but like, no, it just kind of like Arn Sales just kind of shows up, and he really didn't need to. You could have combined Arn Sales and Valentine into like one singular character, and I think the book would not have suffered that much.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, that was really the only thing I thought was not great. Otherwise, I think like it was pretty much well composed. Yeah. What about you?
I think I would have liked a little more like of a magic element to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
or
know.
more mythology references.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
There were some mythology references, but a lot of the statues like kind of had like an obvious symbolism to them, and
Yeah.
then that was it.
I thought I was genuinely recommending you a mythology-based book, and then I wasn't. So sorry about that, but
It's okay.
it is what it is.
The
Yeah,
mythology was a myth, guys.
I know. It was a myth. I wanted more minotaurs, like real ones.
Yeah. Instead, he was like a minotaur mixed with a mermaid, you know? Top half of a merman, bottom half of a minotaur,
Yeah,
making him just a normal dude.
he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't
I
what
got brain rot from that, Toto. Thank you.
Top half of a merman, bottom half of a minotaur.
I guess
No, yeah,
It's a
we all
normal
heard
girl.
what you said. We just all suffered for it.
Yeah. And I'm
I'm
guessing
sorry,
not.
that was too much for you to imagine.
Oh yeah, wait, I have a 1-star review from the audience. Not the audience, just somebody random that I found because it's funny. Because none of us gave it 1 star. Image.
I think we're all more willing to be nice about it.
That's true. This person basically says something very similar. Oh, it's I can't help it. I need plot and something I can hold on to. It slipped through my fingers into the 43rd vestibule to the right of the statue covered in seaweed.
Yes.
Was their 1-star review.
This person's my soulmate. Help me find them.
I laughed at that review, so I said
We need to hate things together.
It was great. If I can find a funny 1-star review, I would like to share them going forward, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
that one worked for me. Yeah, so I guess I wasn't quite recommending the book I thought I was, but I'm still happy I read it.
Yeah, I'm glad I read it.
Yeah,